See
I
if
clicked it. Dude, I clicked it. I clicked it. You can't click it now.
we are live.
We are live.
No,
Let
I
me
just
just
clicked it.
drop this link.
Dude, we're
This
live.
is
Like on my end.
yeah. No, this is the first time I've
Hey,
been.
if people can see this right now, let's invite
Yeah.
them
Drop some comments. Oh, we
to
have some
put in the
comments.
comments.
Nah.
Yeah,
Let's
I
see.
don't know.
Oh, live. It's been a
Can you
while,
all
man.
see
It's been
us?
so long since I went live. Yeah.
We
Let me
have
go
one
share it on
person,
Twitter.
two people in the audience right now.
Two. No, well, one of them is me, dude.
Okay, we have Nomad Cecile tuning in.
What's up? What's up? All right, so let's do this.
Look at that. Tuning in.
Yeah. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to screenshot us, right, and post that as on Twitter. What am I supposed to do? What's up, Cecilia?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's go. Oh, this is a funny shit. Hold up, I gotta.
Did you get it? Did you get
No,
it?
no, I didn't get it. Hold up.
Come
I
on.
got a good one. I got a good one. I got a good enough one.
Okay, great. Share
You
that
say
to me
live
later
on.
so I can say
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Sure.
But you,
I
you're coming
I
out
mean,
blurry.
the audience can see us.
Yeah, you're coming out blurry. So I'll just say live on
Blurry?
YouTube.
Ah, no worries. All right. You want to go?
You're breaking up. What'd you say?
Oh man, it's lagging on my end. Babe.
Yeah, I tweeted. So let's see. Let's see who shows up. Okay, now you're back. You're back.
Can you hear me okay? Hear me better?
You're breaking up a little, but it is what it is. Yeah, feel free to refresh and come back in. Oh no, my partner in crime's not live. Oh no. All right, so I'll kind of wait for Samson to come in. Appreciate the two people who are in the crowd, but I'm pretty sure one of them's myself and one of them's Cecilia. Oh, you're back. You're back.
Wait, what? I tuned out?
You tuned out for a while, man. It was like a minute that you tuned out. Now you're tuning back
So,
in, man.
it together.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay,
You
I
have a
don't know what
wired.
to say,
Do you
man.
have a wired?
Let's just go.
Oh man.
Let's just
Yeah,
start.
yeah. Let's just go. Let's just go. Yeah. So let's really talk about content creation. And some things there's different perspectives on when it comes to content creation. And let's go from the beginning. What I would say is, and we have someone in the crowd. Woohoo! What's up? One thing I would say is for content creation, one thing that people should do is I would say focus on one platform and being consistent with one platform. Is that something that you would kind of recommend?
Man, tunes out back and forth on my end. I don't know if I have to go without camera. Does it work
Without
better
camera.
now?
If it's without camera, then yeah, it is. Let me see. Then I would have to do this, right? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Hey, I hear you loud and clear.
Now you hear me.
Okay, now you're good.
It's
All right,
it's not
so
lagging. Like,
no, now it's not lagging.
oh man, I have to turn. Frustrating. Okay. Anyways,
All right,
we're
dude,
asking a question.
you're the
So
voice in the sky. Now keep your mic on. You don't need to take your mic off. All right.
I put it on.
Yeah, you're breaking up again, man. All right. Whoever's in the crowd, feel free to drop a comment. More than happy to answer. So I'll go. Samson, you there? Samson, I'm not hearing you. And these comments are coming in from YouTube. and I don't know if they're coming in on my channel. Looks like they're coming in on your channel. Okay, so Samson is having technical difficulties,
Man,
but all right, I hear you. Go ahead. You're back.
both the camera and the audio. Does
Both of
both
them are
work?
back. Both works. Both works.
Finally. Okay. Hey, let's do it. Okay.
Okay,
Sorry
so
for the
what was the issue?
technical. Um, I just think it was. Look, there's a I had it out.
Ah,
Sometimes when I pull the microphone, it's just so
uh,
embarrassing. I had to
dude,
put it
it
in.
happens. Okay, rookie mistake. But look, first live stream, we make mistakes. Only 3 to 5 people witness this. But let's seriously talk about it. And this is
Thanks.
just my perspective, my journey. Feel free to add on to it. Anybody in the crowd, feel free to comment any questions that you have. Samson and I are more than happy to answer. But what I would say is, I think people should start on one platform, focus on creating content and understanding the language of the platform and being consistent on one. Because what happens is, I come across way too many content creators. The number one thing is consistency. And the thing is, it's very hard to start on 3 to 5 platforms and being consistent on 3 to 5 platforms. It's just way too much knowledge. And you even see there are large YouTubers who can't hack TikTok. There are huge TikTokers who can't crack YouTube. There are people who can't crack LinkedIn. Each one is a different style of content. And even then, you'll see that, okay, you have people like Gary Vee on all the platforms, but he's not the biggest account on all the platforms. They're like teenagers who have more followers than Gary Vee, right? So it just shows that being consistent and understanding the platform and being intentional will get you really far. Um, so, like, would you say that?
Definitely. What I would say is, I mean, from my experience, I've only been a content creator for a little bit over a year, but I was in marketing earlier on. We had a clothing brand and everything, and we did Instagram influencing and all that. What I would say is, okay, at the same time as what you were saying with stick to just one platform, what you're doing right now, Junaid, with your podcast, and then you're able to share that on onto other platforms. Like you have one that is the main long form content where you can really deliver great value to a specific audience within your niche, and then you're able to share that and channel that on other platforms. I think if I were to start like from zero, I would want to, okay, this is exactly what I would tell myself or my twin if he never got onto anything, this is what I would tell him. Like, get on YouTube or a long form content,
Yeah,
platform like YouTube, and then start to chop those off
yeah,
as you go. Because if you can edit videos for long form, or if you
yeah,
can edit the text for like your blog, you're
yeah.
golden.
No,
Like you
I
have
like that.
so much pieces, for
I like
every.
that. One thing I would say is also, everybody keeps on saying video, video. Man, text is really underrated because for me, I'm a text guy. Like, yes, I can live stream, I can do all that. I actually love live streaming, but text is so easy. Like, I can make a tweet while laying down in my bed. You know, LinkedIn post, I can do it in the middle of something. So it's important for people to realize, like, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. There are some people who are great on video, they're not good in text. There are some people who great on YouTube, Twitter's not the main thing. So I find getting good at text will really help you. uh, and personally for me, I started LinkedIn, and you know what, that was the right journey for me. But make sure you start and you are consistent. um, but focus on one platform, because I was on Instagram first, abandoned Instagram for LinkedIn. Best decision I ever made, and thankfully, because it worked out. And I was on Clubhouse for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? Let me kind of scale back. I feel like there's another platform that'll be better than this, and it worked out. Like, I doubled down on LinkedIn. I was like, you know what? I think when Twitter Spaces is more open, then I'll do it. And I'm glad I did. But it's about risks. I've made wrong decisions too, so I'm not gonna say I made all the right decisions. But it's about doing what you can, being smart about it.
I agree. We have 25 8 Media and Publication Smart sharing
Yeah,
that the YouTube Shorts is a focus that I'm getting into. And with the news that YouTube just launched,
yeah.
was it Tuesday or Monday earlier this week?
What
Like
news?
so YouTube is the partnership program is going to extend to YouTube Shorts too.
Okay.
So you're going to be able to monetize your shorts, which has been a
Okay.
big pain point for all TikTokers. They want to stay on TikTok because they can monetize on TikTok. But when
Yeah.
they come over to YouTube, they have nothing, right? So that's a huge point. I would double down on shorts because they're also allowing music. They're going to allow us to purchase the rights to use basically any music we want. Um,
Okay.
they're evolving that.
Yeah. You know, one thing I would say is as a content creator, I know monetization directly from the platform is important, but I think smart content creators understand how to monetize outside the platforms. Like the platforms are a medium to get attention and to get the deals that you want because smart ones, they have other things. They launch courses, they have consulting, they have partnerships, they have brand deals, affiliate marketing. I find that these you have a lot more control on because usually for I've known people who did well on YouTube and it's like, okay, not that much, but they'll secure a brand deal, they'll secure opportunities, and those pay so much more.
Yeah, I've never had. I mean, we've had brand deals where, so in our experience, where with Spontaneous Backpackers, the brand that I work with, if you're watching this from our channel, shout out to you
Yeah,
all. Um, I would I wouldn't focus too much on the brand deals in the beginning
yeah,
because
yeah. Agreed.
it doesn't really happen. At least for us, we noticed that the brand deals that we got were the ones that we worked for, where it was a win-win, like an obvious, very obvious
Yeah,
win-win. So we have presence on LinkedIn, we have following on Instagram, TikTok, and the rest. However, when we reached out directly to hotels, because we're in the traveling niche, and we went to luxury resorts, and we asked them that, hey, we noticed that this and this is going right in your like in your branding and your marketing, but have you noticed that a lot of people are doing this right now? Do you know how to do this? So when we shared in like, hey, we know how to do this. Would you like us to do this for you? And we got contracts. Like they said,
wow,
okay, wait, we don't need this right now, but we know this hotel they just opened up. It's a luxury resort. You should go there. And it led to us securing a 2-week contract to work for their branding team. I mean, just
yeah,
set up the structures, the systems and the operations with them, and just yeah, make sure that the branding is set up correctly so that they
yeah,
can scale it and continue.
yeah,
However, we didn't have more than 50 subscribers on YouTube. I mean, we still don't. So if you're thinking that, hey, you need to have 50,000 subscribers before you go out and do a brand deal, the first part is true, what I said, where don't focus on the brand deals first, focus on what you can and can't deliver and look for those win-wins, but then also reach out um, to those companies or to those businesses where you can actually serve without asking too much, because they're not going to trust you with a lot of money right now, right away, unless you have
yeah.
proven yourself. So
Yeah.
you know
So I gotta shout out Royal Guidance. Thank you for your comments. Look, ask all the questions that you have, man. We're here. Live streaming is about the audience. It's about what questions you have. It's about your experience, and our goal is to add value in whatever way we can. And no, you're so right. It's more about being strategic because people think they need to have a huge following. But I will say what I like. What someone said is focus. Don't focus on the monetization. Focus on the following, because so many people focus so much on money. And I'm like, well, you can't even get 2 likes. How are you gonna get $2, right? And so focus on that. Focus on adding value. Focus on the niche. Focus on how are you going to add value to your ideal person? If you can add value to your ideal person, that's when you can think about money. But I think that so many people get stuck. Oh, I want to become this big YouTuber. I want to become XYZ, but they're not thinking about how are you going to get there. It's a journey. Can you do the journey? Can you be consistent on the journey? Everybody says like, hey, I could do that. Right? I see all the time. Oh, I could do this, but it's like, can you do it 2 years, 3 years, and not hitting your targets, but still continuing to do it? Like I've been active content creation 3.5 years. I'm still not at a place where it's like, hey, I'm doing extremely well. I do okay for myself, but not where I'm doing extremely well. And I still have a journey that's going to go on. So people think like, oh, you have it so well. But it's like, hey, can you keep going to my position where you're missing out on money, you're missing out on things because you're thinking about the long term. Because in the short term, I would say in a 3 to 5 year period, for most people, having a job is going to be more money. It's just simple as that. But can you look at the 5 to 10 year mark? Can you be strategic about it? Yes, you see these people online who are doing so well, but remember, those are the ones that are being shown to you because they have more views. There are plenty of videos you never see of people who are cracking 12 views, and you're never going to see them. You don't realize the struggle. I've seen people who have 100K subs who struggle, right? Who put a lot of effort into their content and all that. So just be mindful. I'm always love seeing, small accounts do well, but be consistent. And Royal Guidance has a question.
I really like how Roberto Blake.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Let's go to the questions first. So Roy is asking, thank you so much. My question is, what is your advice on what to learn in order to be successful? So I would have to clarify that question. Roy, would you be able to share what skills you have right now? It would make things easier. It would be specified for you or people in your situation. We could really go in deep to your situation if you share a little bit more information about where you're at in your journey right now.
Yeah. So
please.
Okay. So, and the other thing
we can go to the next question.
Yeah.
We can go to this
one. Before we go to that one, I want to say, what is your definition of success? Because some people would say, oh, you're so successful, you work at home. So you have to have defined success. What does that mean for you? And it's very important to understand your skills. Then we could give you good advice. But let's go to the next question.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's different for everybody. Roy asked, what are some mistakes you two have experienced? Want to go first, or should I? I can definitely go first.
You go first. You go first.
Please. Yeah. Okay. So what Janet was saying earlier about, hey, focus on one platform, don't go on all of them at the same time. I did the exact mistake. I was on TikTok. I was doing 8 to 10 TikToks every day.
Man, respect.
1 second. Is it working better now?
Yeah, it's working. Go ahead.
Yeah, I went for over 30 days. But what I always like to do is I crunch out the first 100 pieces of content, whichever platform I choose to go hard on. So I did the same thing with Instagram stories, with Facebook page posts, with Twitter. My most recent is Twitter, with LinkedIn as well. Yeah. So and right now we're also doing YouTube. So, but what I'm saying is, I'm my biggest mistake, and I'm going to bring up the question because it's really good. My biggest mistake that I've experienced is that I spread myself too thin, and I expect myself to be able to deliver not necessarily quality, because I'm not going for quality. I learned early on that quality is not up to me. What I consider quality, somebody else considers just, that's worthless. So it's really up to the audience who you're attracting. Is it answering their pain points? So that's where I went hard on just quantity, but I went so hard on quantity that I felt like I was burning out. And that's my biggest mistake. Whenever I go hard on a new platform, I just want to crunch out those first 100 pieces of content, because I know that hey, 1 or 2 of those content pieces is really going to resonate with my target audience. I'm going to be able to dig deeper on that. So that's my biggest mistake. I just spread myself too thin too fast. What would you say, Junaid? In your experience, what has been your biggest mistakes?
Choosing the wrong business partner. I think, especially when you get into business with friends, you should set expectations, because I've talked to a lot of people. When you're full-time in the business and you have other people who are not full-time, I don't know. Someone even mentioned that they don't truly appreciate how much you're putting in. They just think they're just hanging out all day, just chilling and all that stuff. They don't realize how much networking and all that stuff goes on. And then even when they leave, they always feel like they got gypped off, even while you're doing 90% of the work. And so that's something I would have definitely done differently. And going forward, if I always tell people, look, I see a lot of young college kids. You have people start a business with their friends. Just realize that they have different goals. I've seen people, they start a business in college. It's going okay. Oh, I got into my MBA program, and then that's their full commitment. So set those expectations and set ways that you can separate if someone's not going to be committed. 100%. That's the biggest mistake I made. I would have been way further had I not had that business partner.
What kind of contracts would you set up right now? Like, hey, you've been to these mistakes. So how are you? I would like to just follow up on the same question. Like, how would you now secure that this mistake doesn't repeat itself? Could you ask that one back to me later on?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's actually a great
No,
follow up.
I'm going to have those tough conversations later and set those expectations. When I started this business, I was really young. So whenever I started another business, we set expectations, and we actually I had another bad business partner, but we split. At that time we were like, hey, I knew what I wanted. We had a separation, and it was fine. But I would set those expectations, and like, don't be afraid. Like, be the bad guy if you need to. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you want to grow a business, you can't have someone slacking off and focusing on living a good life and all that. You got to put in work. There's no way around it.
Yeah, most definitely. So in my case, what I would say with not spreading yourself too thin, what I was covering earlier with how I would avoid spreading myself too thin or burning out, is just, I guess, the partner part, what you
Yeah,
just shared. I mean, it makes so much sense because most of the things that I do is it's me and my partner, my
yeah,
wife, and we do everything. But
yeah.
we don't automate a lot of things right now. We don't delegate a lot of things. We don't even eliminate a lot of things. We could. I know how to. It's just I feel like, hey, I have to be on top of all these things instead of
Yeah.
sharing that burden, just being everywhere. I just
Sanson, I'm gonna make your life easier. You can create 20 pieces of content, and you can start. One of the best things, the best piece of advice I ever see is just start. Like, because what happens is, one thing is, you get better over time by starting. Because we have this preconceived notion of like, okay, here's what's good for the platform. Let me create 100. But then you create 20, and then let's say one takes, or you have a trend, and now you can create a better 20 next time. So I still don't. If you can create the 100, good, but don't let that be the stopping point, because you don't want to run into, because that's a different form of perfectionism, right? You maybe the content's not perfect, but then you want to have this. Hey, I want to have this mass quantity, and that's your definition of perfection. But don't let it stop you, because again, it takes time. It takes sometimes creating that 100 piece of content. You may not be in the mood. Like, sometimes I have content inspiration randomly, so don't be afraid to just start, man.
see that's what it's all about. Like, there's so many things that I've learned just by being with or connecting with Junaid, and it's insane. Like connecting with other content creators, because even you here tuning in right now in live or watching the recording, I would say that's one of the biggest lessons that you could do. Like, you don't reach out and you don't ask because you're afraid of how you're going to be seen, and it's going to have to be perfect.
Yeah,
I have that a lot with my content. Like, hey, oh my god, that post flopped. I'm terrible now. I put myself too much in that perspective.
yeah.
Yeah, question. Now we have some background from Roy's perspective when he was asking, uh, what advice on what is your advice on what to learn in order to be successful? He
Okay.
also specified a little bit more with saying that, hey, I'm a big personality, so I'm great on camera. I want to offer services. I work in spirituality, tarot, and other divination. I'm currently taking a digital marketing and e-commerce class.
Okay.
So I'm working on that skill. I don't want to waste time. I would like to streamline the process as much as possible.
Okay. I got
So what could
something.
we say? All right.
So if you're a big personality, lean in on it. Lean in on that personality. Right? Too many people try to tone down themselves and all that, but be that big personality. Be that one that's sharing. Put that excitement into your tweets, into your videos, and all that. It'll lead to places. So if you want to offer tarot and other divination, maybe you could do something like, hey, uh, book me for a 15-minute free tarot reading. Do that. See what happens. See who signs up, and then you can use that for people who really like your services. You can use it to upsell other things. But I find that for certain areas, go out where they hang out. They'll probably be in areas of Twitter, Maybe you could share videos on YouTube, Reddit. Find those areas, those forums, and yeah, offer, hey, book a free 15-minute session, book this, and yeah, that'll be where your customers come from.
That's 100% what I would have said, or similar. I
Yeah,
would have said, because you're learning right now, Roy, when you're learning or while you're learning, share that you're learning. Like that process is content. And people who are in your journey right now, that are thinking about learning your subject, they're going to feel, holy cow, Roy knows a lot more than me. Like he's studying
yeah,
this part. Like there are people that are paying for tutors to ace tests in school, right? So you can basically just do that. I mean, just offer your, this is what I've studied, this is how I did it, these are the courses that I recommend. This one is,
yeah,
this one could do better with this kind of feedback, right? So if you're showing yourself that as the student and leading other students in learning your skill right now as you're growing, I think that's massive, man. Like
yeah,
that attracts a lot of good vibes, good karma. People want to help a person that's already pushing that car. Like that, if you
yeah,
see a person down the road, they're sitting there, the car is stuck somewhere, and they just sit with their phone. Nobody's gonna help that person that's just on their phone with a broken truck.
yeah,
Meanwhile, if you see a person they're actually trying to push that car, you're getting out of your own, you're stopping, you're like, hey, can I help out? It's much likelier for people to help you out if they can see that you're trying to learn this thing. So does that make sense, Roy? I think you just said, wow, that's great advice. That's great to hear.
no,
This is like live feedback. I love this.
yeah. I love this. This is what I love about live. You get people who tune in. How do you know Royal Guidance?
Okay, so Roy met me on LinkedIn.
Yo, that's funny. That's funny.
So yeah, I think he found me like a couple of weeks back, and then he's watched some of our other videos with traveling, and he's like always so much positivity, and can definitely feel like it's great vibes from you, Roy. Keep it coming, and those who is watching this, putting the in the comments later on or right now, if you have any questions coming up, let's cover them.
Yeah, no, I
We
mean,
had
we got a
go
couple
ahead.
viewers, so that's cool, man. This is cool. I love live streaming. It's a
Yeah.
nice thing.
Man, wait, let's talk about that. So for those people that don't know, how many live streams on LinkedIn did you do when it wasn't a thing back then? When did you start with live streaming on YouTube video?
It was LinkedIn mostly, and it went to YouTube, but YouTube never did too well. But I did about, I did a lot, man. I did at least 200, 300 plus hours of live stream because I would do like 2 to 4 hours at a time.
How did you make time for that?
No, I mean, at that time I wasn't making much money, so I just spent all my time just building. I was focused on building community, and if someone asked me another mistake, I should have. See, it's tough because I spent all this time trying to figure out how to make money, and once I did it, so I wished I started learning. I wish I was networking. I was doing everything I could to try to make money, but it just didn't work. So if I had made money even 6 months earlier, I would have had just something to reinvest in all that.
You know, what was the biggest lessons from your like live experience? You're doing 200 lives or 200 plus hours of lives. What are some things that you learned during that your journey? Because holy cow, that's some massive experience.
Yeah,
Even 1 hour.
focus on the audience. Don't focus on perfection. Focus on just having a good time with your audience. And it's all about the engagement and realizing that, I don't care that, hey, there's only one person talking. Royal Guidance is my best friend right now. Whatever questions he got, I got him. And it's about sharing value, having fun with it. And too many people focus on being polished, but live is not is not about being polished. It's about being raw. And yeah, thank you, media and production. I watched on a how to on cow huffing, and I don't do anything with farming, so yeah, it's how to process catch people. They definitely do, man. Yo, now I'm probably gonna watch a video on how to cow huffing. It's cool. People like learning.
Yeah, we have a question from Roy earlier. Um, he's worried a lot about video editing and making videos look engaging. His question is, do you all feel that is a mistake? Just do it, bad edits and all, or should he focus on the edits? What do you think?
I think don't focus on perfection. So don't do bad edits, right? but don't focus on perfection. Most people like, oh, thinking that they have to have these videos like these top TikTokers. It's like, yo, they have editing teams, they have all that. Trust me, they're not doing it themselves. They have time to dedicate. Do the best with what you can given your resources. You know, that's it. So that's what I would focus on.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when you're comparing yourself, also like on that topic of comparing, the one thing that I would have wished to understand earlier is when you're comparing yourself to somebody, let it be you, an earlier version of you. So when Junaid was doing videos of live streaming or drew 100 hours of live streaming, I mean, that was basically unprecedented. You didn't have anybody to compare yourself to. But
Yeah,
even
yeah,
then, it would have been more to your benefit to just look at, hey, these were the first 10 episodes that I did.
yeah,
And the first 10 episodes are vastly different from the 60 to 70 episodes, right? So that's why I really hammered down on getting those 100 pieces of content out as fast as
yeah,
possible,
yeah, yeah,
because I know that that's procrastination just hiding, waiting for you.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
gonna attack you. You know, you're gonna feel like, no, not today, man. I don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
time for it. Everything else is gonna be more important. So just get those pieces of content out as soon as possible, Roy. Like editing can do it. Yeah. Once you know something, okay. So this is the thing: if you're editing something and you can become the best editor, but if the quality is not there in the video itself, if it doesn't resonate with an audience, you haven't learned storytelling in a way where it actually resonates with somebody, then you're focusing on editing. You're putting hours of editing in just basically what you're just saying now. It's basically procrastination, just hiding out. So focus on just putting out that content. Later on, notice that something resonates, do a take of those. Like, hey, oh, I noticed that when I'm talking about tarot cards to this community on this platform in this way, it really, oh my God, like people just reach out in my DMs asking me, like, how did I find out this place? And it can be so random things, like you're not thinking about it. Sometimes we have videos like that, how to backpack and how we pack our videos. That video did better, not in forms of views, but in forms of comments. Like just rolling your like, I didn't think that that was a big deal.
Dude,
We've
rolling your
done this for
shirt,
years.
the
No,
shirt,
we just
rolling the.
we, it's called compact
Yeah, yeah,
rolling, that thing.
yeah.
Like you just Google how to compact pack your when you're going to travel with a
Clothes?
carry on.
Is
Yeah,
it clothes
basically
or
just
what?
yeah, like you have a shirt, you put a couple of pants on there, or you could put underwear, whatever you want, and then you just roll it up and you fold it in within a sock. Like we had a
Yeah, yeah,
video earlier on, and the comments were like, oh wait, from professional travelers within our community, they're saying, oh, I've never done that. People that have been to over 100 countries said that,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I never even knew that that was a thing. Like I didn't pack that way, or I didn't know that you could save this much space doing that. So you never know. You never know what's going to resonate with your audience or your target audience. You think it's obvious to you, but you don't know what's obvious for them, or what's really going to be, like quality. So
yeah,
those are the videos that you want to go back to and edit later. And hey, now it's for a bigger audience. I'm going to make a really, impactful how to like really show where I learned these things and resources, maybe do some more research and whatever. But yeah, those were part of the first 100 batches of videos that we're just putting out. So we didn't do much editing. It was in one take, all of it.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it, man. That's cool. It just shows that sometimes you know things that other people don't know. And Royal Guidance, we're here for you, man. I'm looking forward. And when you create those videos, send us a message. We want to support in any shape or form. Let me see how my Twitter post is. Did anyone like it? Um, okay, 5 likes. Hey, look, respect. I respect.
People may
Uh,
be having dinner right now. It's like dinner time.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, look, it's all good. I look likes and um likes and comments go a long way because you help me get in front of someone who may be watching live, and yeah. Okay, so
Go to the people in the audience right now. Like, hey, we have a couple of people here live. Put in the comments. Where are you tuning in from? Because
yeah,
that's
where
always interesting to me.
yeah. No, and let's see if it's a it would be interesting if it's a video if it's a place that you have not visited.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
We've had, I mean, so I could share real quick about our live streaming. So I knew you by then. Like I knew you did live streaming on
Yeah,
videos
yeah.
tonight. And in the beginning of this year, I set a challenge for myself to 100 live streams
Yeah,
on
yeah.
LinkedIn,
Oh yeah,
on
you were
YouTube.
doing well with that.
Oh my God, man. That thing, that's the part that burned me out because that was every day. That was not one of
Yeah.
those things that I could just
No, you
delegate
did it
somewhere.
every day. I was like, yo, this. You know what I found? And I'll tell
That
you,
was
I
super
have
tough.
found you can. I tell people don't live stream every day
Oh,
because
hell no. Don't do
what ends
it.
up happening is too much burden on the audience to keep in touch. It's so hard to like keep up. So hard. You can look. You can do live like Sean does the Twitter space that he would do a lot. That you could do because look, I can watch it in the background. But YouTube is like I gotta sit down and watch. I'm not gonna casually listen to a YouTube video. So that's one thing I tell people. I've known several people who live stream every day. It live streaming every day only works if you're already big and you have that huge audience. That's the only time it works. But I've seen people live stream every day and it's like they don't crack the huge amount of viewers that they expect to get.
So for me, it was again, it's not about the quality. Like I don't expect it to land with everybody at the same
Yeah.
time. For me, it's just about that getting over the procrastination part. Because I
Yeah.
know if I don't say like if I don't put an impossible challenge for myself,
Yeah.
I don't feel like, hey, why should I even put in any effort? Like
No,
I'm
I
so
get it.
lazy. Like I'm the laziest guy. Like I will sit on the beach, just chilling with my wife and my
Yeah.
kid. Like we don't do like if we don't have to. But then I put these challenges for myself. Like right now, I'm on a thread challenge of
Yeah.
posting a thread every day for 365 days, which is also
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
impossible challenge, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
likely
Yeah.
gonna fail it, but I'm going in with the thoughts that hey, if I make it through this, when I make it through, like I have so much content that I've already shared, and I already know that hey, some of this really resonates with a very specific niche audience. So I don't expect it to go viral. I don't go for virality, even though sometimes it goes viral. But it's like it's a cause and effect kind of thing where if you put in a lot of effort, you will have something that really resonates.
Yeah.
We had
No.
we had earlier here people sharing media and publication smart. DR from Florida is tuning in from Florida.
Yeah. What's up, DR? DR is truly one of my favorite connections on Twitter. Just so humble, always sharing good perspective, and great guy. He shared a story about at work. He just really stood up for a group of people because they were categorized as not good workers, but they were actually good workers. But they didn't get the training they received, and they didn't get misunderstood. They were stereotypes. So DR, heart of gold, man. We need more people like DR.
That's amazing. Great job, DR. I didn't know that. We have Roy tuning in from Chicago. Man, I thought you were in California. Now you just changed my worldview of you. Nah, I'm just kidding. Um, Great to have people all over US. Hey, Junaid, where are you tuning in from? Maybe somebody
New York
doesn't
City,
know
New
that
York
already,
City.
right? And for those of you that don't know, I'm Samson. I'm right now in Mexico City, and yeah,
I
next
gotta
time it could
do.
be at some other city.
Yeah. I gotta do a trip to Mexico City or something. I want to go to one of those resorts.
Oh man, you're in for a treat. Like there's so much media. Okay, for instance, let's not talk about that. We're
Yeah, yeah,
talking about branding today.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
okay, let's get into the topic of branding. And if we were to start over from scratch, like, what are the things that? Oh, this really resonated with Roy. I love what Samson said. Compare your current capabilities to your past capabilities. Profound. Thank you so much for the recognition. And yeah, keep those comments rolling in. And if you have any questions at any time,
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm
Junaid,
yawning, man. I don't know. Sometimes it's just like I didn't get much sleep today. Just hectic day, man. Today's one of those. I didn't even get some breathing room. I'll have some breathing room after this, but
I don't sweat it.
definitely
See,
tough. But
that's the part about live too. Like, hey, we're not polished here. Like, we're
yeah, I
not
need a
trying to
haircut, dude.
be.
I need a haircut. I was supposed to get a haircut last night, but he was busy, and then I gotta get one tomorrow night. Thankfully, I'm getting one before my sister's wedding. But
Yeah,
you
but
know
that's the
one
thing.
thing
It's
I would say,
real and it's raw.
yeah, you know one thing I would say, I wish I started on Twitter earlier.
And me
You
too.
know, like I wish, but you know what? the timing worked because Twitter Spaces didn't exist. Twitter Spaces is how I compete and how I build community way better than a lot of other people because they're large accounts, but you barely ever see them in Twitter Spaces because a lot of their content's like batch content and this and that. And I like to compete in areas like, yo, live is where I compete.
You have an unfair advantage in live too, because I mean, for those that don't know, maybe people tuning in from Spontaneous Backpackers, Junaid has a podcast, nodegree.com. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go there and check it out. He
Yeah.
has incredible guests, sometimes people that you never have heard from, sometimes people that you've seen on TV. So it's kind of like everybody's sharing their story of how they get incredible
Yo,
jobs.
if I started the podcast 1 year earlier, I'll be way further because people who started podcasts in 2017, 2018, they were one of the earlier pioneers and then it blew up. So it got more competitive. I still do well, but I would have done way better. But yeah, just little things. And before I tried to get on many podcasts to share like my knowledge and all that stuff, once I started a podcast, I got invited to so many. Yo, there were some people who I watched and I was like, yo, these are great podcasts. I hope I'm on them one day. And they reached out because they saw me on LinkedIn. So just very good, you know. So many cool podcasts that I've been on because of having a podcast.
Hey, in starting one, if you were to start a podcast from zero, what would you say? Like,
Be
what would you
consistent.
focus on?
Be consistent because so many people start. It's like 10 episodes, 20 episodes. I have found that anytime I haven't been consistent, I have lost listeners. So be consistent and make sure you can do at least 100, 200 episodes. It has to be something long term. Like everyone wants to be Joe Rogan, but this dude started podcasting in 2009. So, it took well over 10, obviously it grew, but 10 years to get to the point where it was like, wow, he's bigger than, all that. So be mindful of that.
Same thing with Tim Ferriss. I read a post earlier today. He was starting his in 2014 or
Yeah.
something. And he just said, hey, I'm going to do 6 episodes. And I
Yeah.
don't care if I fail. Like, I don't care if it's going to be the worst podcast
Yeah.
episodes ever. He just wanted to get those 6 episodes so that he could learn from the experience.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's kind of the frame of mind that you want to have when you're starting out with anything when it comes to content creation. Like, fall in love with the process and what Junaid said with, if you can't do 100 to 200 episodes or 200 pieces of content in whichever niche you're going in, maybe that's not something that you're, supposed to go in. Maybe your gut is just telling you that this is not for you. Because long term, that's really what's going to define people. Like the ones that stick it through, they reach the success levels.
Yeah. You
And
have to stick it through.
yeah. And we have a question here from Roy. Can you explain Twitter Spaces?
Yeah. It's easy. If you've heard of Clubhouse, it's like that. But think about like a group phone call where a bunch of random people could connect. It's amazing. We have great conversations. I like it because I can do other things while I'm on a Twitter space.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you can. The best thing about Clubhouse, I was on Clubhouse 2021, May
Yeah.
until late year 2021. I think October is when we had the final coffin in the final nail in the coffin with Clubhouse. I was just done with it because most of the creators just left because, well, long story short, Clubhouse wasn't adapting fast enough to the creators'
Yeah.
demands, and they just left. Like they were treated better
Where'd they
elsewhere.
go to?
Some went to Fireside. This
Oh yeah, I
Mark
got an
Cuban
invite to
back.
Fireside. I should have.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm glad I didn't. Like, I feel like Twitter Spaces is the best out of
It's
all of them.
it could still be worth looking into because it's still so new. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like wherever you go, like stick it through.
Yeah.
Twitter Spaces is not like you go into one and now you got all the knowledge and now you don't never need to go to any.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. It's the same.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you have a great idea for for a YouTube video or whatever, and now you made the video. You spend a lot of money to make it with the best kind of gear, but it doesn't land with anybody because hey, you didn't put in the hours that it takes to actually grow with the
Yeah.
skill. Like you didn't skill up
So
organically.
let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you one of the big reasons why I stopped Clubhouse, because I was like, you only exist in the room. Outside the room, you don't exist, right? They have to connect with you on Twitter or Instagram and all that stuff. Reason I stuck on Twitter compared to any other audio platform, I exist on the Twitter timeline. So I was like, my spaces will help my tweets will help my spaces, and it's that positive feedback effect. And like Twitter's been around since whenever 2006, whatever 2009, I forgot, really early. The other thing is that Twitter, for social media purposes, it's very fast moving and it's the home to journalists. So I was like, look, if I go viral on Twitter, I can get on press. Other side, you could. I knew people who had like over 100K followers on Clubhouse, but it's like, again, once Clubhouse died, they're done. Twitter is gonna be around for a while.
I think that's one of the most important parts when choosing a platform, like looking at the longevity of the platform, because there's a lot of people who are looking into TikTok right now, and it hasn't proved itself long term.
But
Like it's still a
it
startup if you
does.
think about it.
Nah, it's not startup, dude. They have backing. You gotta understand, TikTok was there for like 2017. So when I'm talking about longevity, even if it's like a couple of years, but these fireside is like 1-2 years. TikTok was Musically, and then TikTok, even though short term, it has surpassed like Google search results and all that stuff. So it has proven itself, man. Like I would say, now who knows how long it's gonna be around, but think about the impact TikTok has had. TikTok has forced Instagram to create Reels. It has forced YouTube Shorts. It has changed the game to the point that these companies have to catch up. So I think it's more. Um, but yeah, it's all about what you're good at. But that's my perspective.
It's interesting how you're saying that they had to change in order to keep up with TikTok. Do you
Yeah.
think there's any other platform right now that's out there that people may not be even aware of? That hey, this one is changing the game. Something
There are a
like
lot of
TikTok just sneaking up.
there are a lot of. It's tough, man. I was researching, because I always research these things. But for me, it was just like, let me just stick to Twitter, LinkedIn, and then maybe I'll be more active on a TikTok or YouTube. But it's just tough because you just never know. If you knew, you'd know. Like even LinkedIn, dude. LinkedIn's been around since 2004, 2005. It's only been a serious content platform since 2018, 2019, and even then, it still flies under the radar. So it's just way too hard to predict. But the beauty is the platform doesn't have to be big for you to get business, for you to get the right deals, for you to get closer to your goals. So don't necessarily think about the size. But I think about these things because these people who had 50 to 100K plus subscribers on Clubhouse, now it's like they built all that audience. It's just doesn't have the same effect. So they lose out. So make sure you have an email. I gotta do it, but email lists are very important.
What would you say for people who are actively posting on LinkedIn? Okay, wait. First of all, somebody watching this may have never seen LinkedIn is today. Like you may remember it just like is, right? What do you see? Janai, you're logging into LinkedIn. What do you see in your feed compared to a person that hasn't logged in 10 years? What will they see?
Person that doesn't log in, they're gonna see a bunch of weird viral posts. So a bunch of people jump in, got jobs at Google, got jobs at Microsoft, some very polarizing stuff too, depending on who you're connected to, like coworkers liking, and then you're gonna see like hot chicks and selfies, like whatever. But my feed is mostly more business content, humorous content, and small community content because I've unfollowed people who like basic content, and I've unfollowed people who create that type of content because that's not what I want to engage in. Like there was a funny piece of content. There's a lady, she does really has a lot of followers, she does really well. Not the biggest fan of her, but she was talking about, hey, have you ever sat? She's going to her book signing or something like that because she wants to help someone, and she was like, "Have you ever sat in the back of a plane to go help someone?" And it's like, "Oh, okay, we have Mother Teresa over here. She sat on the back of a plane. Like, wow, like, come on, dude, what is this? Like, so I gotta create I don't know, I gotta make a Twitter account where I'm making fun of LinkedIn people and just, I don't know, yeah,
That's interesting. So you curated your audience or your feed. Do you do the
yeah.
same thing on Twitter too, where people coming into Twitter haven't been on Twitter for ages. They just remember the Wild West days where everybody was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
hating on everybody. Like,
yeah, yeah,
what's
yeah.
changed? What's different with your Twitter account? Like when you're
No,
looking
my
in, what
Twitter,
do you
I
see?
really only started being active. Yeah, so my Twitter is a very curated audience. Like I get better engagement than a lot of like big company accounts, which is funny. Like I'm just a regular dude who's like struggling. Uh, but yeah, so Twitter, mine is very engaged. Mine is very tech focused, personal development, insight. Because again, I want to make sure my social media feed adds value to me, or it's people I support. So I'm learning a lot, man. Like what a lot of people don't realize, I get invited to spaces. I learn from the other speakers. I take bits and pieces from other people, and then people think I'm so smart. It's like, dude, I just listen to other people, and I know who saying smart things, and that's how I learn.
That's so sneaky. Like you're sneaky smart.
Dude, let me tell you. Look, let me tell you how sneaky I am. Right? So what I
Go
tell
ahead,
people,
please.
let's say people when they're looking for resume writers, they'll shop a few. I'll tell them, hey, they'll be like, hey, I used another resume writer. I'll be like, hey, you know what? I wish you best luck and hope you get the job. And I say, hey, if you need a free review of their work, more than happy to do it. So then I learn what my competition does. And I learn, I'll be like, oh, okay, my competition charged this much just for their work. I could do better than that. And then sometimes when I do the review, man, if they do a good job, I'll be like, hey, did a good job. Here's what I would change, you know? But if they did a bad job, I'll be like, man, you paid for this. I was like, this is wrong, 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 this is wrong. And then they're like, wow, thank you. I can't believe it. I was like, yeah, man, I wish you best luck. Feel free to make the edits. And they're like, yeah, in the future, I'm going to refer people to you. So it's like, I've learned so much about my competition by doing that.
That's insane. Hey Roy, I
Yeah,
hope you're paying attention because he was about to start his business right now here in the audience.
yeah,
Like, listen to this. Like, you could literally write down what he just said, or go back to the video
yeah.
later on. Do exactly just that. I have never heard that before, by the way. Like, I heard it when you heard it the first time. So I didn't even realize you could do that. That's hella
Dude,
sneaky.
think about it. I've seen thousands of resumes. Like, oh, let me tell you the mistake. And this is something. So my business partner, right? Let me tell you a mistake. I do resumes, right? This guy went on Fiverr and paid someone else to do his resume. But I learned that he paid 800, so I learned what $800 of quality this guy charged, and I realized that. But so I learned, okay, I'm worth more than that. But yeah, that's a bad business partner. Imagine you had a business partner who bought a service from another company. Like what?
Oh man. Wait, so he delegated without telling you?
No, he needed his own resume done. I would have done his resume for free
Oh right.
because he's my
What the?
business partner. He paid some guy on Fiverr 800 bucks, and I'm thinking like, that means how little confidence you have in your own business. Like, what? Dude,
That's
the only
insane,
thing
man.
is I learned that I do way better resumes than that guy on Fiverr who has reviews. That's what I learned.
Hey, by the way, this is, I mean, we're almost at the hour mark. So
Yeah.
let people know, man, what are you up to right now, Janine?
Dude, I'm grinding on Twitter, man. I'm interviewing for some jobs. I keep that open because it's tough, man. I'll tell you that one thing. I'm in the career development space, and this is really unfortunate. I've done over 400 resumes. I placed people at Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all these other places. But the issue is people are so latched onto people. Oh, you have 180 reviews, but I'm gonna go pay someone who has 10 reviews, two to $7,000 for a program because they're so stuck on I need to get someone with this background. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get a job. I'm gonna triple my prices, and I'm gonna be like, yo, you guys did not believe in me before. I have no sympathy for and I'm gonna charge that rate. I truly appreciate the clients that actually use me and they see my value and they like that. I will always remember them. If I ever hit it big, I'm gonna make sure to hit up all those clients. Be like, yo, you used me before I was big, and I will truly remember that. But um, yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at, trying to look for a job, balance this, and like my business partner put me in a hole where I have to sort of work 6 to 7 days a week for the next 4 to 7 years, and that's why it's very important, like to choose your business partner strategically, because the time is what money is one thing, but time is something you don't get back. So now it's like, you know, just being strategic, focusing on Twitter, and then I'll see what comes next.
And
Yeah, thank you,
we
Royal
have
Guidance.
we
I
have
appreciate that.
confidence in the comments right now.
Yo, Royal
Like,
Guidance he's a cool dude, man. He's a cool dude.
so much love, man. I really appreciate this.
Yeah.
He's
Nah,
so
keep it up,
good.
man. Keep it up. Keep up the 10-year plan and pivot, do what you need to. Keep it up, man. You're gonna go places.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to just take action, man. Like, fall forward, fall fast, and all that. But don't stress too much on the perfection because it really is procrastination just disguised as perfection.
Yeah.
It's just procrastination. Just get into it, and it could be a trait as well. Like, if it's too much procrastination, I've noticed this. Like in my experience with creating and stuff. If I have too much, like if it blocks too much, like I was scheduling this call, like this live stream, 1 hour before it was supposed to. Even though I knew like almost a week ago, like, hey, we're gonna have this on YouTube, we're
Dude,
gonna live
I
stream,
suck at
and I'm
I suck at,
like the admin stuff, I'm procrastinating like crazy. Just
dude,
if
let
you
me tell you
can,
something.
outsource it.
Outsource. Let me tell you, admin stuff I don't like. Some people like it. I'm not a good admin person. Outsource it because focus your energies. I'd rather do 100 comments on Twitter than do admin stuff. But
Man, I
that's
could do
what
a
is
hundred
needed.
tweets, like
Yeah,
100.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, it's definitely personality. Know your strengths and weaknesses. I would really recommend that for content. Know your strengths and weaknesses. This was cool, man. I want to do more of these YouTubes. I want to grow on YouTube, and all that. I got to start getting active on YouTube, man. If I hit it big on YouTube, I'll be set for life.
man. I think everybody right now is underestimating YouTube. Like seriously, what? Check that video out that came out on. I think it was 2 days ago. Um, about what's going to change and what's changing in the beginning of the next year. It's
Yeah,
really changing the whole scene for creator economy is changing. Like
yeah.
$50 billion has been paid out to just creators on YouTube. That seems there's no other app that has that much
Yo, YouTube. Let
money
me
that
tell you,
makes.
YouTube. Yeah, they have to innovate because TikTok has hurt their search results and all that stuff. So I think YouTube. But remember, YouTube is ahead in search technology, and that's why video hosting platforms. So it'll be very interesting. It'll be very interesting.
In ending, I would like to share with those watching here, with Spontaneous Backpackers, if you've never heard about us before, it's me, my wife, our kitty cat that we picked up in Ecuador. We're traveling the world and we help other people travel the world as well without spending a fortune. So that's what we do. One client came to us asking, hey, we want to relocate to this place, a couple from Arizona. And they were ready to their budget. What they were saying was, we have this amount of budget, 35,000 a month for moving to this country.
Yeah.
And after working with us, we got that down. They're saving over 30,000 every month for the
Well, they're
same.
doing 35,000 a month.
I'm
Wow.
not kidding, because there's a lot of companies, especially like travel advisors and these
Yeah.
firms, like they live on retirees just spending that. They worked hard for it, and now they don't know what value that money buys whenever they want to go somewhere. So they get scammed hard. We're very we're very upset with how the business is set up with these
Yeah.
resorts and whatever. Like they really squeeze the money out of the people that go for that or fall for that. So what we're able to do is basically find the same thing, but at a price point where you get to
Yeah.
buy a Mercedes every month if you want. Like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
do that, something else with that money, because you don't have to spend all of it in just accommodation and transportation. Like that stuff that's what we've learned in our
Yeah.
journey. Like we're able to live in Mexico City like locals. We're able to live in Singapore like locals, or
Yeah.
Malaysia or New Zealand. So that's what we do for clients, and happy to help anybody out that's looking for that. So,
Okay. Yeah. No, it's cool, man. This was fun, man.
man, let's
We'll
do
do
it.
this more often. I gotta create more YouTube videos, but yeah,
This
yo, you helped me create, so I appreciate you.
Hey, this already is like content. Like, I don't know if y'all realize, but this is content. Like this right here, we can chop it up a little bit, make some shorts. Some of these
Yeah.
questions, keep those questions coming even after the live stream is over. Keep those questions coming in, and next time we can bring them up in the next one, right? So,
Yeah.
thank you all for tuning in. What would you like to leave the audience with tonight? Like one piece of wisdom.
Take it one day at a time. One day at a time. Create that one tweet, one comment, start, and build that momentum.
So simple, man. Yet so profound. Like that's what it is. Just no more excuses. Just start.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.